All right, thank you, everyone. Tonse and yeah, um, good afternoon or good morning. Yes, I just Todd Bailey. I'm the Land Stewardship and Environmental Protection Director for Swan River First Nation. These are it's always it's a risk putting these things in front of me because I kind of go down these adventurous rabbit holes. But I'm only going to take 2 minutes and I'm going to hand it over to Leonardo. So you'll be saved from bad dad jokes and political and economic rabbit holes, which I mean, we could set another week aside and that would be fun. I'd like to first thank, I think it was Alexis this morning that opened us off with a prayer and in a really good way. And last night, her father, Ted, with a welcoming drum song. So really appreciate of that. And an elder had once told me with a drum, it's one beat, one heart, one mind. And that always stuck with me. I worked for Swan River. I'm not from Swan River First Nation. But I think that's the one heart or one beat, one heart, one mind. Just I think it will resonates through what we're doing here with all of this work and the journey that that's ahead of us. So yeah, I'd like to. I only have 2 minutes, so it's the last time I was at one of these things, they had a countdown in front of me. But Swan River is in Treaty 8 territory. It's 2.5 hours northwest of Edmonton. A small nation, but a very proud one, and just really wanting to be out front in a lot of land stewardship initiatives. We I want to actually, I have to wrap this up real quick, but I want to thank the funders for allowing this project to proceed, NRCan and WRCC. I'd like to thank, doing this work is important in the partnerships that will lead to this success. And you surround yourself with good people, good organizations like ApexRMS with Leonardo and his team, and we partnered with another company with Trevor Weens and Apropos. I'd like to, before I hand it over, just what really is important, I think, is fire. We want to start changing. We've had some engagement sessions with the community and lots of fear and anxiety around fire. And fire is important. What I've heard through the community with the creation story and the importance of fire in ceremony and traditions and being out on the land, and want to really, instead of fear and anxiety, have more of respect and value of fire, the importance of fire, not to have the fear anymore. And it's been an alienation for some time now, and it's reconnecting. There's a word, Wakotowin, all my relations, and it's reconnecting all things, all of the processes on the land. Recently, I read some things about the metabolism of ecosystems, and it's all of the stories, the songs, the rhythms, all of those things that like Swan River people were intimate with the land and the functioning, the fabric, all of those rhythms. And we want to, through projects like this, start to reconnect in that. And here's some tools that will allow the community in its land stewardship initiatives to be able to, reconnect those things. So I'm over 2 minutes, I know. And yeah, I'm handing it over to Leo. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Todd. Yeah, so where do I fit into the picture of this project? I'm an ecologist. I've worked over the last 20 years developing ecological models for forecasting of different land management actions. And so we wanted to work together with Swan River and our other collaborators to try to generate tools that put those models into the hands of decision makers. A little bit of context for motivation. We're all really becoming increasingly familiar with images like this. The one on the left is from Slave Lake, which is then within the traditional territory of Swan River First Nation. When we met at a workshop last spring, there was many stories from community members who either had homes in Slave Lake, including Todd, whose home was on this picture, who had, a lot of trauma from these events. And we know, as have been mentioned before, that Indigenous communities are disproportionately impacted by events like this. We also know that fire is a process that is important on the landscape, creates a lot of regeneration. It occurs both naturally, but also is used as a tool by people and has been used by a tool by Indigenous people, both in Northern Alberta, but also the rest of Canada for countless generations. So there's kind of this movement to revitalize Indigenous use of fire, as we heard also from Dexter earlier today. And there's also a loss of knowledge because of colonization. So when we want to bring these activities back on the landscape, we need sort of tools to help in the planning and consultation process around this. So for this project, we wanted to develop a web-based or cloud-based tool that helps brings these sort of models, makes them accessible to decision makers. And so would incorporate wildfire risk into land stewardship, consultation, and planning processes, and could be used anywhere in Canada with publicly available data to create forecasts of wildfire risk, both today, but also into the future. And consider alternative scenarios for land stewardship and also some of the uncertainties that go into any kind of modeling exercise. And as we've heard earlier, we want to bring together these two perspectives of Western science and Indigenous traditional knowledge. To do this, we're working with already accessible tools. The company that I've worked with, we've been developing a tool, and I realize I'm getting short on time. So one of them is a tool to bring together models and data. And then one of those models is the Burn P3 Plus package, which is developed and maintained by Canadian Forest Service for sort of modeling wildfire risk and hazard on the landscape. The other tool is the Louis Toolkit developed by Apropos Information Systems. And this is a tool that creates a spatial inventory of community assets, housing infrastructure, and traditional land use sites, and to be able to create overlays. Where are the assets of the community impacted most or at most at risk from wildfire hazard? This is a community-led initiative. So the picture on the left shows a meeting from last spring that we had where we did a user needs assessment and we heard from the community what their needs and concerns are. We learned from their experiences on the land. We heard stories from elders who, had knowledge of what were some of the cultural burning practices historically. And then the picture on the bottom right, we came back to the community just last week with our initial design for what this tool might look like. Had a lot of really insightful feedback, and then went out to some of the sites that were impacted just last summer at Swan Hills in the fire that happened there. And if you want to learn more, here's a few resources, and we'd be really happy to chat later on during the meeting. Thank you.